It's about teaching the athlete how to build function instead of performance, because we are drilling performance. We are not drilling function. They came up with a functional movement screen, 7 movements going back to primal movements. What are we capable of doing as a born specimen on this earth? Right? We're 25 years into it, and we're making ground, we're making changes. But why is it not in the high school level, where the damage is happening and people aren't excelling into collegiate ball? Their warm-up was based off of their imbalances and their weaknesses. Not a whole group. Not everybody was doing the same thing.
Hello, and welcome to the show. I am Tony Glasgow. Real quick while I have you, if you're listening on YouTube, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and leave a comment if you feel so inclined. And on your favorite podcast player, download this episode and save it for later, because this show, which is part 2 of my interview with Laura Dill, we're going to delve into the root cause of most injuries. They can be problematic, and Laura is here to just explain to you how to get out of that cycle of just feeling tension and stress on your muscles. And she also gives us a different approach to pregame warm-ups, gives real-life examples of athletic teams that have performed better after repeating these exercises. And if you don't get all the info in this show at this time, Laura's contact information will be in the description. And right now, I want to take this time to mention my featured business for this show, which is Clutch Design. Check his Instagram to see all the designs from baseball, softball, and just really too many to mention. You have to see it for yourself. So my challenge that I have still stands. If you can stump Branden and give him something that he cannot do, your next order's on me. So check him out, see what he's got, see what he can do. Let's go ahead and get into this show with Laura, and we'll see y'all on the other side.
I need to make sure those intrinsic stabilizers are functioning appropriately before I load anything else. Because if my bicep is too strong and I go to throw a baseball and my rotator cuff isn't ready, I am ripping something.
Okay.
It is too powerful. That engine, too much torque. So back to the car scenario. If you have anybody who's into racing, if my rear end is not strong and I have too much horsepower, that torque, it's blowing the rear end, right?
Right.
It's going to do the same thing to a shoulder, to an elbow, to a knee, to a hip. So if I have too much activity happening, if I'm working on my computer too much and using my mouse too often, or like those little bitty things, and I'm letting my shoulder just kind of hang out there like a flag without good shoulder stability, I'm going to get tennis elbow. My elbow is going to take the hit. And then you've heard of carpal tunnel, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Then I'm going to get carpal tunnel. It starts at the top. I need to make sure those intrinsic muscles are strong, can hold that head of that humerus into that socket to let everything else flow appropriately. It's like plugging in the electrical cord.
Yeah.
You have to make sure it's all there for everything else down the chain to work.
Well, let's take that scenario that you just mentioned. Someone sitting at a desk. Basically, how do you know you're doing it wrong is what I'm trying to say.
It's okay. You're going to have some discomfort. You're going to have to go, what's my body feeling like today? After a day of work, am I exhausted and I didn't do anything?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it takes energy to sit incorrectly. It really does. You're just hanging on threads at that point. So think about neck discomfort, elbow discomfort, wrist discomfort. Do you have any burning sensations, tingling sensations?
Mm-hmm.
Do you get up from sitting at your desk and immediately throw your shoulders back? Like, that's your body trying to elicit movement because you were just in a static position for too long, which then throws what's called, and I'm going to use a big word here, and then I'll simplify the language. You have something called ischemia. Ischemia is lack of blood flow, death to tissue, necrotic. Okay. So if I'm in a particular position for too long and it becomes static, I do not have the pathway of nutrition. So you have a nutrition deficiency due to lack of blood flow. Nutrition, hydration, all of that is delivered through blood flow. You cut it off, you're suffocating it, it's dying, the tissue's dying. Now you have discomfort. Lactic acid has now sat in that area. And lactic acid, you've heard that term before, right? Or you felt it. You've done 10 squats and it starts to burn.
Yeah.
That's lactic acid. If you allow that acid to sit in that muscle, it breaks it down. It breaks down ligaments, it breaks down tendons, it breaks down fascia, it breaks down muscle. You have pain, discomfort. Everybody has that soreness, that delayed onset muscle soreness after exercise. That's all related to that lactic acid or that poor posture or the muscle not moving to its full capability.
So with athletes, are there any indicators that that they can see that they're not as flexible as they need to be, other than, feeling pain or whatever? Is there anything that they can do on their own to kind of see if they need to have any alignment done?
That's a loaded question. So it depends on what they know. You kind of made the statement, you don't know until you don't know. Typically, they don't know until they've gotten injured. And then they've been put in front of somebody who has, human body in the knowledge. So pathophysiology, kinesiology, movement people. Then they start to learn what happened, what went wrong. This is what you did wrong. All athletes have heard that term. This is where you went wrong. What the heck? Where are we at the beginning, right? So we are committing child abuse on a daily basis with our student athletes. And I don't say that lightly, right? Many years ago, I'm going to date this about almost 20 years ago, really. I was introduced to this very lucrative coach in Broken Arrow, very well known. Did it for 3 decades, right? And I wanted to learn from him. I wanted to learn everything he had to give me. And one of the things he said he wanted to start with was how he committed child abuse for the last 30 years, because he wished he would have known then what he knows now.
Really?
And it's about, it's about teaching the athlete how to build function instead of performance. So it's about a pyramid. It's making sure that bottom of the pyramid is general physical preparedness, not sports specific. So we want to make sure our children have a broad span of sport options. Don't stick them to one sport. Give them options like golf and tennis, or basketball and football, or yoga and ballet, whatever. Give them options, because it's going to give them different body experiences, right? Everybody is different. Everybody is different.
Yeah.
You can take that in a bunch of different different aspects there. But the point is nobody's teaching our children functional movement. So back in the late 90s, early 2000s, a group of athletic trainers, physical therapists, occupational therapists got together, and they had to kind of ask themselves, what the hell is going on? Why do we have so many young patients with ACL tears, torn meniscus, ruptured discs, whatever it might be, labrum tears in the shoulder, going in for Tommy John surgeries on the elbow? What is happening? Because we are drilling performance. We are not drilling function.
Okay.
And so the movement started then with Gray Cook.
Gray Cook, you said?
Gray, like the color.
Okay.
Gray. And he started a movement with a bunch of people, and they came up with a functional movement screen. 7 movements going back to primal movements. What are we capable of doing as a born specimen on this earth, right? I'm born, I have development capabilities. Do I maintain those? Or do I regress in some way because we live in Western society and we sit too much, right? So when muscles are too short, when muscles are too long, it pulls on the levers, it makes the fulcrums wrong, right? And then you start to limp and do all these things. So we have asymmetries. We have people who work off machines, right? They work off machines at the gym, or they only work off a barbell. You're in a linear state. you never rotate. You never try one-legged activities or one-armed activities. So your body doesn't have the ability to do contralateral things. Opposite arm, opposite leg, right?
Yeah.
We are bipedal humans. What means when I take a step, I only have one foot on the floor. I don't move and have 2 feet on the floor. So I need to think of activities in a bipedal, single leg deadlifts, reverse lunges, pistols, all of the things. I'm trying to think of all of the different one-legged activities, even in the lateral sense, right? They don't do that. They go hit the bar, hit the weights, power, power, power. Did you do your sprints? Did you do your static stretching? Because that program is stuck in the 50 years ago. With all of the knowledge we have, we shouldn't have as many injuries. We shouldn't have children showing up with these types of debilitating things that won't allow them to graduate into the different levels of sports.
Yeah.
And they did a good movement. And now the functional movement screen, it tests the squat, it tests the hurdle, it tests the lunge, it tests the shoulders, it tests the rotational, right, on the ground, quadruped, all the things we need to based off of the primal movements that we should obtain as a child. We should never lose that. We're superheroes as children, and then we tend to lose it as we get older. You'll see the pattern. But they did get it into professional athletes. So every professional sport has access to functional movement, and they use it. They use it at the combine, NHL, NBA, TPI with PGA. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. They all use functional movement, right? Okay. We're 25 years into it, and we're making ground. We're making changes. But why is it not in the high school level where the damage is happening and people aren't excelling into collegiate ball? It's funding. That's the problem.
Funding is in the sense that they just don't have it to have the person like you to come into the school and show the athletes. Is that what you mean? Just funding?
And to work with them. And to everything is so fast. Seasons are so fast. They don't think about it in time. We did an excellent job one year with the golf team in Broken Arrow. So everybody had a screen. Everybody went through a movement screen. All 50 of the golfers, or however many I had, boys and girls. Everybody had a screen. Their warm-up was based off of their imbalances and their weaknesses. Not a whole group. Not everybody was doing the same thing. So when they showed up, they had their assigned tools to use for their holistic warm-up. Once they were done with their warm-up, which takes maybe 12 minutes max, even with kids chatting, then they were ready to train their sport specific, right? So a little bit of general physical, and then a little bit of sport specific, and then back to general, right? So it's kind of a mix and mingle of their activities. That year was their strongest year. They went all 18 holes without getting exhausted carrying their own bags, because in high school golf, they weren't allowed to have golf carts, right? So at the end, they had no injuries. Their endurance was up. Their score was up, right? Basic fundamentals of getting them where they need to go. They felt amazing. Then we did the same thing with the marching band. Everybody had a screen. We actually found a student with scoliosis. Like it slipped through the physical fitness test that they do. Hey, here's a piece of paper. Go to your primary care doctor, and they pay $25, and they do a fitness. What's it called? The sports physical. It's a joke. Why are you doing that? Why are you doing that when you should just have an FMS coach show up to the school over a course of a week, screen all of your children? If the child has an underlying health condition, heart, lungs, something, I need you to go get that cleared. A PFT, a pulmonary function test, an EKG, all of those things on a medical side. But let's make sure they have function first. Because why am I going to build a sport program on top of this dysfunction? And I get passionate at this one, they find a really good athlete and they drill them into the ground. They work that person over because they're the best one on the team. They don't want to let their team down, and then they get hurt and they're out for the season. And then you have B squad.
Wow. That is so ironic that you say that, because it's about something that we're going through right now. We're trying to come back, but we're kind of going through that right now. Could you see that in, every sport, baseball, basketball, and football, just having a 12 to 15 minute workout that's before the dynamic workout that they do right before the games? Because that's not really that much. If I'm really being honest, they don't do a whole lot right before the game.
We should see it. Mm-hmm. Everybody's warm up should be based off of their imbalances and their weaknesses, not off of some generalized plan that somebody made when they sat behind their desk.
Yeah.
I need to, so many people throw programs out, just, run of the mill programs. But nobody asks that athlete what their goal is. What's that person's goal, but also what that person's ability is to get to that goal.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Do I need to, on the soccer field, they're running all the time, right? Nonstop, running. Do I need the biggest quads for that? No. Why are they doing the amount of front squats that they're doing? Because if I have too strong of a quad and I plant my foot and can't completely make that pivot, that quad is pulling so hard on a torquing joint. Why do you think the ACL is going out? Mm-hmm. Why do you think the meniscus blows?
Yeah.
Because that engine is too strong.
I don't know if you watch football or not, but there was a similar step that Patrick Mahomes took like that. And he just kind of jammed his foot in the ground and it kind of was awkward and he limped for a little bit. He was all right, but it did kind of is following along the lines of what you just said about that, how, if you're too heavy in one area, your foot or your ankle or your knee can't move along with it. Have you ever watched that man walk? It is terrible. As a therapist, that's the type of talking about a curse and a blessing at the same time. That absolutely drives me bonkers because he's got such an inward drive of the distal part of his femur. Mm-hmm. So when he's got such that inward drive, I'm wondering what's happening at that tibia plateau, like where the bones kind of come together, because they're going to have a lot of wear and tear. Lots of wear and tear. So that type of structure should have been, now he's compensatory strategies for many, many years and his body has figured it out. But for longevity down the road, he's going to have hip issues. He's going to have ankle issues, right? Yeah. So you have mentioned he planted and something happened at his ankle. It's because wherever the foundation was not secure. So if it was at his knee or his hip, it wasn't secure. Well, that is some interesting info from Laura Dill, a functional movement expert. And real quick, before you go, check out Clutch Designs. Check out Branden. Check out the challenge that I have. If you can stump him on some item that you want, if he can't do it, your next order's on me. So go ahead and check him out on Instagram, see all the things he's got there. And if you thought that episode with Laura was good, just wait for the final part in the series. The series name Move to the Next Level with Laura Dill. She closes out her appearance with direct information to get you aligned. So you don't want to miss that. Check it out, download it, save it. And I want to thank you guys for joining, for listening.